So as I was thinking about this topic that I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to make sure that I don't skip a beat in what I have to say, because it seems to me like a lot of men are saying one thing and doing another, and a lot of women are doing one thing and saying another as well. And nobody's really being honest with each other anymore, it seems. There's a very select few people that are actually being real with one another. There's a select few people that are actually being direct and honest. And I've met women that actually say what they mean and mean what they say for the most part. And of course, she's still going to be a woman, but she's not going to be super callous or calculating and trying to compete with you, because that's what a lot of women nowadays are trying to do with men. Is they're trying to compete with men, and then they wonder why men don't want them. And on the flip side, men are saying that they want a traditional woman, but then they go out and they make all of these hoes and all of these whores, and it doesn't really make sense to me. It's like, if you want your children to have a better world, don't you think that you kind of have to shape yourself into the kind of person that's going to give you that better world for your children? And the thing is like, a lot of this has to do with corn. Corn is destroying society because people don't understand what corn actually is and what it actually does. We exist and we are in a interdimensional battle between good and evil. The demons and the devil himself are trying to destroy everything good that God created. Because if you notice, everything that God creates in Genesis, he says, and he saw it was good, and he saw it was good. He did this, and then he saw it was good. He doesn't create things that are evil, but he allows the opportunity for them to present themselves because of free will. But have you ever wondered why it is that corn is free? Have you ever wondered why it is the case that corn is readily available to anybody and everybody that just wants to get one off? Have you ever wondered that? It's because they're harvesting your consciousness. They're harvesting your energy. And if you don't believe me, because this is some like wacky stuff for some people, because they're just so degenerate that they don't even want to consider the possibility that they might be wrong. The thing is like, your semen itself contains, as a man, your consciousness to one degree or another. How is it the case that your sperm, when it goes into the egg, it creates life? Your sperm is very, like your swimmers, right? Like, they're swimmers for a reason. And your swimmers are swimmers because, well, that's kind of what we do. Like, what we do as men is we're the ones that are penetrating life, and we're the ones that are, for lack of a better term, probing life. We're the penetrators. Women are the penetrated. And the reason that a lot of women are trying to compete with men is because they don't want to be, like, they want to have it both ways. And you'll see this with a lot of corn people and people that are on OF and all this stuff. They think that it's a game. Okay, they think that it's a game. They think that this is just, something fun to do. Everything's permitted, right? Fyodor Dostoevsky said that if God doesn't exist, then everything is permitted. Well, that means morality can't exist. And any atheist or any agnostic that argues the contrary is not understanding what it really means to have faith in God anyway. even if they wanted to understand. And it is so funny to me how I used to be an atheist, right? I used to not care about God. I used to not care about what other people were doing or thinking. I thought, you know what, like, I'm going to have my own thing that I do. But for some reason, I always had a conscience. And that conscience always kind of crept back up into me and with me throughout my time growing up. And now I realize that my conscience is with me for a reason. God gave us a conscience. Like, your conscience isn't a product of evolution. Your conscience is a product of God's creation for you. You're supposed to have a conscience because it tells you what's right and wrong. It tells you what is going to be a sin and what's not going to be a sin. And isn't it funny how all of these men that are literally busting a nut every single freaking day, they're eating McDonald's, they're eating, Cafe Rio or Costa Vida or whatever, they're eating Five Guys, and that sounded wrong, but that's a burger place, by the way. But I mean, that's happening too, though, because we live in a degenerate world. But all these weird things are happening. They're watching the corn, and then they're thinking that they know how to live a better lifestyle than me or other men like me who are godly, that are not participating in that kind of stuff, that are not whoring around and creating whores. And we're not, like, we understand the value of our life force in our semen. And we understand that if we want to create a better world, we're going to have to start to act like it. And they think that us retaining, like, it's such a foreign concept for so many men that, like, they legitimately think you're going to get cancer. And it's like, yeah, who told you that? Yeah, who told you that? And, maybe this is another good point to ask is, like, okay, if corn was created to destroy men and women, but specifically for men in this video, if corn was just created to destroy men, who created it? Well, obviously it was the devil, but you can't really say that practically to somebody that doesn't really believe in the devil or whatever, right? And even though the devil believes in God and knows the creator, he doesn't like him. I mean, there's a reason why you can't say Jesus Christ and his name around certain people. Like, people just, they'll freak out, man. It's really wild. And I mean, I've had instances where I've talked to women who I've been, like, in the talking stage with, and I say, well, do you follow Jesus Christ? And as soon as I say Jesus Christ, I start to get the sense that, like they this spirit, whatever, they have a spirit in them that doesn't want to hear the truth. And because I'm a very energetic based person, I wouldn't say I'm telepathic, even though some people have said that it's like I'm telepathic. I would consider myself more clairvoyant than anything else, but also I don't like to put labels on things, but I will have certain instances where I'm around people and I can feel what kind of energy is going on in their body just by being around them in their presence. And so if I am talking to someone and I feel as though, like, oh, I can't really like, I can't really speak around this person, it's like, no, I can speak. That's what is making them upset. There's a spirit in them that doesn't want me to be speaking what I'm speaking right now. And it's not them, it's the spirit that's inhabiting them. And this spirit has probably gotten incrementally has incrementally gained control over this person through time. This is going to be a highly theological video, I suppose. I didn't intend for it to be this way, but this is going through some deep stuff here. Because we have to understand the spiritual implications of watching corn. And we have to understand the spiritual implications of participating in it, because you are definitely not doing yourself any favors by watching it. But it doesn't mean that there isn't something to learn from it if you did. Like, think about this, right? The first time I saw corn was when I was 11 years old. I was 11 years old. And I am sure that I'm not the only person that has seen it that young in this generation. But think about this, right? This is the first generation that we've seen where nakedness is readily available, and it's purposefully made to be perverted as a sense of pleasure. Like, it's a sense of pleasure to be perverted nowadays. And it's almost like if you're not participating in the perversion, you're considered the outsider. And I'm not saying that I'm a Puritan by any means, but I'm saying that I try to live a life of purity, and I try to live a life of purity, and I try to live a life that is healthy and filled with joy and peace and abundance. And I praise God for these things because life just feels better with God. And that's what a lot of people that are continuing to watch corn, they don't understand. They don't understand that there's a life outside of corn. Hopefully the wind isn't too bad in this video, by the way. Hopefully it's not too bad, but it's really a beautiful day, nonetheless. And I was playing a little bit of guitar out here, and I decided to make this video because it's been on my mind, it's been on my heart, and I don't want to skip a beat, right? Like I said. So something else that I wanted to discuss with this topic was that there's not a lot of appreciation for beauty anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I'm playing a little bit of the guitar here, is because we need to rekindle that yearning for beauty, true beauty, not just lust. And you know, right? You know when you can tell the difference between a woman that's just a hoe and a woman that's actually beautiful. You can tell the difference. And it's how she walks, how she carries herself, how she talks. She's not going to be super talkative, but she's going to be very friendly. She's going to be able to feel things out with her intuition. And, you know, you'll hear the thing that women's intuition is never wrong, and don't buy into that at all. Don't buy into that at all. Like, women, they are very in tune, don't get me wrong, and they are very spiritually aware. I would say more often than men. They just don't care about the implications. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of women just don't care about the implications of sexual promiscuity. They just want to have the fun and then not have any consequences. They don't even think about the potential consequences down the line. But it's because of their lack of appreciation of truth and beauty. Because beauty is, I mean, it's not really difficult to discern, right? But truth is hard to discern. Justice is hard to discern sometimes. And I would say when to be merciful is also kind of difficult to see, when to discern sometimes on when to give mercy, because when you're going up against somebody that holds malevolence, true malevolence in their heart, you cannot be merciful to that person or they will stomp on you. Absolutely. They will do a lot of terrible things to you, all in the name of what? Well, it's nothing really. It's in the name of they don't really care. And because these people don't really care, they think that they can create their own morals, which is where they're wrong. This is why I'm saying that your conscience is something that is bred into you. It was created in you. You know what's right and wrong. You just have to create a relationship with God and yourself first. And I think a lot of men are being destroyed by lust because they're seeking the pleasure. They're seeking an escape. It's a form of escapism, right? It's a form of escapism, and it's a form of not wanting to accept things for what they really are and the truth for what it really is. And that can be very detrimental to your spiritual health, and it can be detrimental to your overall, just your maturation in general. Because, for me, seeing corn at the age of 11 for the first time, it changed the way that I view things. And it wasn't until think about this, because I'm going to be coming up on 3 years of semen retention next month. And it took me over a decade I didn't have really an addiction to porn. Oh, excuse me, corn. Sorry, YouTube. I didn't have an addiction to corn, but I never really stayed away from it either. I was always watching it at least once or twice a week, just to kind of, not have any cancer. It's like, well, this is what they want you to think. They want you to believe this. The level of spiritual, ineptitudes amongst our doctors is completely inadequate. Like, it is completely terrible to see the level of stupidity among, it's not even stupidity, it's just, they're just not taught about the spiritual side effects of certain things. They're not taught that, your mind, body, and spirit, it's all part of the same thing, right? You're all part of your own part. Like, you are living in and with your body, your mind, and your soul. And this is what the Bible teaches, and this is exactly why it's so vital for us to recognize the sacredness of our life force and the sacredness of our ability to actually live a life of purity, to actually live in a way that is going to be non-counterproductive and to actually be productive. And the best way to be productive when you're having these kinds of destructive thoughts with lust and such, you can't force yourself into anything, but you can will yourself into something. And I truly believe that, but I don't think will is everything. Again, you have to ask God for help. You have to ask God, and you have to want to be with God. Because if you're not wanting to be with God, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually do anything about it. It's going to be very difficult for you to actually do anything about moving away from that which is wrong for your well-being, unless you have something good to move yourself into. And that something good is God. So, with all that being said, I hope that this video was useful and insightful for some people out there. I think I hit on all the points that I wanted to. There's definitely more that I could talk about here, but for the sake of understanding and keeping it simple, I think we're gonna close off there for today. And that little tune, that is Redemption Song by Bob Marley, just so anybody knows. That's a beautiful song, and that's what we really have in this life. I chose that because I wanted to make sure that, well, number one, it seemed appropriate, but number two is that we can still have our redemption song. Okay, we can still be redeemed from this, and if you're in the spirit of lust or corn or whatever, you can still rise above this. Okay, you don't have to give in to these spirits. You don't have to give these demonic energies your energy. Okay, because they need our light, and yet they still want to keep it dimmed. Like, it's crazy. These demons are, it just doesn't make sense. But hey, you know what? That's why we're on the front lines of the spiritual warfare and in the trenches. So peace be with you all. Until next time.